XRP for the army, I have some important news for you guys. As of just now, Brad Garlinghouse made a big announcement. We also have some big news from Donald Trump and other politicians, including our crypto leader. I also have a speech from this man because he is pretty cool. I think a lot of people have been sleeping on him and don't really know who he is. So I'm going to introduce you guys to someone who is really going to help move the crypto space forward in a huge way. I'm also going to talk about the United States economic system because, well, let's be honest, for a long time now, the US government has been telling you lies. In fact, everything they've been telling you about inflation and their process reviews and facts is quite a bit off. And just recently, we got a big replacement in that area, which is pretty shocking. And it might almost be able to tell what will happen in the future. I had to tell you guys about this before we talked about Brad Garlinghouse and Donald Trump. Because, let's be honest, this whole thing is crazy. This turned out to be amazing. First, we will see at the same time that the No Farm Payroll report confirms that 227,000 new jobs were added in October in the United States. Some measures don't agree. According to the family poll, there was a big weak spot with the number of hired people dropping by 355,000 in November. At the same time, the US lost 111,000 full-time jobs and 268,000 part-time work. Long-term unemployment has gone up from 1.2 million people in the end of 2017 to 1.7 million now, even though the US government created 33,000 jobs just last month. Something doesn't add up here. To put it in another way, what the Fed tells us and what is really going on are two very different things. This is a fact that even the Federal Reserve agrees with. According to their reviews, they have since gone back on CVAR and said, you know what, we should revise this information 5 months later because we just found out that we were wrong by more than 80% on the information we gave you, which was not really their choice. Also, every once in a while, they make a good case for why they need to lie about information so as not to scare people. And that's how they kind of justify it in their minds because they're a public service company. But I think it's wrong no matter how you spin it. And the numbers don't lie. They've always had terrible music files, and every time they put out records, it's been proven to be wrong. They say they are adding jobs when in fact they are cutting jobs. They are including a group of presidential jobs to try to make it look better than it really is, which is unlikely. Jobs in the federal government, like jobs in the government, should no longer be in job records. Actually, we should be trying to lower the amount of money we spend there because we already know we're spending way too much, but adding 33. It is ridiculous to say that the government is creating 0 new jobs and then put that into a record as if we are somehow growing our businesses. That is because the taxpayers are paying for all of that. That being said, I really want you guys to know this because I want a big trade or exchange to happen. The US will keep getting worse if it doesn't show up. Now, luckily, Donald Trump will be inaugurated in January, which will be truly amazing because it will be one of his main goals. Yet, the path we're on right now is no longer one that can be maintained. A lot of the numbers we've seen in the last 4 or 5 months are also completely false. I can say that with certainty. It seems like it's totally wrong. We can now also see that the total amount of foreign debt is crazy. World debt reached a huge $323 trillion in the third quarter of 2024. On top of that, the national debt has gone through $12 trillion in the last 3 quarters. The world's debt has tripled in just too long of a time. Global debt to GDP is now 326%, which is still higher than it was before the pandemic. Emerging markets almost hit a record high of 105 trillion won in debt, which is 245% of their GDP. The world's debt is going through the roof. So that's what makes it very clean to me. And I tell all you men that all we need is a new business machine. Take a look at this picture. It's disgusting that debt is rising so quickly and not being paid off. Politicians are talking about it in a serious way. They want to focus on things that aren't true, like things that are made up, and they're not really paying attention to what's going on here. That's to let you know that we're not poor and that we're not jogging into the floor and destroying everything that we spent days and months making. Truly crazy, putting countries bankrupt. And it never ends well for anyone, okay? Let's do something about this, and I think crypto is 100% going to be the answer. Luckily, David Sacks's new crypto Sahar will work on a prison structure which will give the crypto industry the readability it's been looking for. Because I'm going to be honest, there isn't any law against Bitcoin right now. The SEC and a few other government groups also use that to their advantage by enforcing the law. That is crazy because all of these crypto groups were pleading with the SEC for a way to track criminals. The CC didn't answer and said, it's pretty clear what the law is. Then they said they'll just sue people out of the blue and destroy their business. How come we're still here, man? This is what we want, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens because this is going to be a big part of how everyone can work together in the future. It's going to be big. Following my conversation with David Sachs, I plan to give you all a short speech by him because he is a very experienced XRP man. That being said, I think this is one of the best things that could happen for ISO cryptocurrencies like XRP, HBAR, and XLM because this guy has said so many good things about them. Pay attention to the sound of real time. This is just too complicated. In the end, this is him. The headline says, I just want to make sure the target market gets a look at the headline ripple sales of XRP. Do not now represent provider funding contracts, which is what the tweet said. This is a huge sign for them, and XRP is ripping 35%. Yes, and it only holds the SEC accountable. What are they going to do about Coinbase in every trade? If they're not selling stocks. I feel like Coinbase and everyone else is always saying they might be selling tokens. This became the SEC's main point of contention, and they lost. The crypto market is going crazy right now. It's an exciting time. What's even more confusing is that the initial sale to accredited buyers and hedge funds was successful, that they broke the rules about stocks there. When they were trying to trick very smart traders, if you only look at it rationally, you might think it changed the other way, but this is an interesting turn of events. I just texted Brad Garlinghouse and he said that yes, it does mean that they got it, and he feels pretty good about it. We've got our cryptos going on here on these crypto shows. In essence, they're saying that while the SEC wants to follow the law, they are actually breaking it and running a dishonest business. This will change, though. We are going to have a brand new seat chair, which we talked about in our last movie. We are also going to have a great new crypto Caesar who is building the prison system. And this guy, seasoned cryptocurrency guys, this is so great for the XRP community. I don't think people realize how great that is nearly enough. Now that we've talked about great news, I know many of you guys have been waiting for the official word on when the 60 Minutes interview would happen. I know we all thought it would be December 4th, but it's not. We clearly have the official date here, guys. It's going to be December 8th. And let me tell you that, I can't wait for the 60 Minutes because there's such a big stage. This will make a lot of people pay attention to XRP. Now, I know that some of you are going to ask me, Kay, what's going to happen? Is XRP going to go through the roof? Is it going to go down? What's going to happen here? And to be honest, it's hard for me to decide what to say. Even though I think XRP has just hit a new low point, you should also know that we consolidate just a little more down from where our fees are now. But now that we're here for the interview, everything is pretty much going to plan.